seconds. And good Wednesday morning, 4 minutes past 10 o'clock. We're up to 90 degrees already. It's going to be another toasty one today. Our forecast high right at 100 degrees for Payson here. And we do have a chance for some thunder showers this afternoon, so that's something to potentially look forward to. Hopefully some rain and no lightning. Anyway, all of that said, it's time for KRIM's Community Spotlight. And this morning, got a really interesting show for you. With us in the studio, we have Hoyt Skablin from Banner Payson Medical Center. He's their CEO. Also, John Hancock from Eastern Arizona Community College Nursing Program. He's an educator there. And let me see if I can talk in English now. Abby Hazelow, she's a nurse and recent graduate of the program there at Gila Community College, or Eastern Arizona Community College, I should say. And we're going to find out a little bit about this. And first of all, to tell us more, to begin with, again, the CEO at Banner Payson Medical Center, Hoyt Skablin. Hoyt, this, one of the things that folks don't really realize, and we've been talking a little bit about it before the show today, is that the nursing program at the college here is really doing some pretty amazing things. I've known a few people that have gone through this, and people may not realize how special this program really is.
This program is ranked #1 in the state of Arizona.
#1 in the whole state, right here in little old Payson.
In Payson, the heart.
The heart. Well done. Well, you can get you a job with the Chamber of Commerce. Anyway, so what makes it #1?
The whole, I would say, the curriculum and the instructors, and then the caliber of the students combined have created something special. There's a temptation, I think, in all that we do to want to find the easiest path forward, and the program hasn't done that. The program has maintained the highest standards. These graduates, the 8 graduates from this last year, are top-notch nursing graduates. We put them up against any nursing graduate in the country because there haven't been corners cut. And so it's an intentional design to create excellence. And I would tell you that as a rural hospital administrator, spent 25 years in rural healthcare, nursing community college nursing programs are the lifeblood of a hospital for nursing. To have a community nursing program here and have it be the best is a unique combination I've never seen and been part of before.
And not only is it #1 in the state of Arizona, but it's also nationally recognized as well.
Nationally acclaimed, and at one point was considered #1 in the nation, and I don't know, there's several different ways you can measure. So this is a top in the nation program. That's the safest way to say it. I can't say it's #1 today, depending on the measures, but the outcome of the nurse coming into the employment field, they can't be better prepared.
Well, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment too, but one of the things that I think is really remarkable, because for many years it seemed like there wasn't anything like this in Payson, but this is keeping kids coming right out of, sorry, everyone your age is a kid in my world, but keeping kids in Payson after their education. So often they have to move away for better opportunities somewhere else, but this is keeping people right at home in Payson, which I think is amazing.
It is. And when I came here in November, as I went around, one of the questions as I was meeting nurses, where did you train? And over half of our nurses today we employ 200 staff at the hospital, and a good portion of those are nurses, and over half of those seem to be trained out of this program.
Wow.
When you train locally, the opportunity for long-term retention is dramatically increased, and the more you can reduce turnover by retaining staff, excellence is more easily attained. You know each other. If you're saving a life in a code, you come to know each other, and you know each other's second move. Just like in sports, you get a team that's been together for years, they tend to just like clockwork. So we're really proud of them. I want to also reference that the Mo Young Health Alliance Foundation, they have been a backbone to the success of this program.
Huge. They've been involved in so many things that have really increased the caliber of what's going on at the hospital and healthcare in general in Payson.
I would say that I know there's healthcare is their focus, and education. You combine the two. When it comes to healthcare education, the Eastern Arizona's college performance has reached the goal. Now it's a matter of maintenance, in my opinion. Now with Dr. Michaels and the medical staff at the hospital, he's our chief of staff, there's work relating to physician training and residency programs, which I hope one day we can bring guests to tell the listeners about physician training, physician assistant training, and how we participate in these others. But when it comes to nursing, we have arrived, now we have to maintain, and that's a hard thing to do.
That sounds amazing. Now, from the perspective of an educator, again, John Hancock, an educator at the Eastern Arizona Community College Nursing Program, this has been an interesting experience for you too. Now, first of all, I understand that you work a little bit with the hospital and with the college. Is that
I
right?
work both at the hospital and with the college, both of them doing clinical education and training.
Wow.
So it's the hands-on stuff that I love.
Right. And you know, one of the things that Hoyt mentioned was, this whole idea of, Payson's a pretty small town, and having been born and raised in Phoenix, I just kind of took it for granted there for many years growing up that, you walk down the street and no one really looks at each other or says boo. And then I moved to Payson 40 years ago, and I mean, you can't hardly, turn around without someone saying, "Hey, how you doing today?" And everybody knows everybody. And this kind of make for an interesting atmosphere when it comes to healthcare in the hospital. I mean, that's got some really interesting little nuances to it.
It does have nuances. You might be taking care of someone that you go to church with,
Right.
and you see them in different situations. And that actually is part of the training that we do is, okay, here's how we take care of a cultural difference, or how do you take care of your neighbor, how do you handle emergencies, crises calmly. That's all part of the program.
And I guess my first question would be, and how exactly do you teach some? I mean, it would seem like there's got to be some innate qualities in a person that enable them to do some of that really almost can't be trained.
That is correct. Not everybody should be a nurse.
Right?
And so they have to have a little bit of stuff built in, but we have, I call it the dummy hospital, which is a bunch of mannequins that are very realistic, and we have them practice on those mannequins before they go into the hospital and practice on real people, so they get that experience.
And these mannequins are programmable. I mean, this is sophisticated mannequin. John can create environments that are very real and that test the judgment of the nurses, the critical thinking. This is one of the greatest advancements in clinical education in the last couple of decades, is the ability to put a patient, that we can change the patient's reaction, the heartbeat, the breathing, etc.
They will throw up. I mean,
Oh, lovely.
Yes, it's.
Yeah.
Very real.
That'd be a fun project to work on.
Abby can tell you she's been surprised by the mannequins more than once.
Wow. And I could go so many different directions with that.
I would tell you, so up on the hill, the college, there's some amazing equipment, and that's where the MHA Foundation and others have been at the college. And this is you cannot be top rated without the best equipment and tools and resources for the students and the educators.
Correct.
That's amazing. So now this goes beyond, obviously, if you have mannequins that are talking and throwing up on people and stuff like that. I mean, when you first started talking about this, I thought maybe you were just talking about, training on how to intubate a person or something like that. This goes way beyond that.
This goes way beyond. This is, okay, they're in pain and screaming. How are you going to handle that?
Wow. And Abby, I would imagine that really kind of pushes you to some interesting limits at times as a student.
Yes, for sure. John did a great job in school of making sure we were prepared for
Right.
any patient scenario. So literally anything you could think of, we probably went through, just so that we were prepared for when we do transition into the hospital.
Now, your mother is in nursing.
Yes.
Is that kind of where you originally got the idea that this is something you'd like to do?
Yes, so my mom has been a nurse for 13 years, and so watching her just go through school and
Right.
become the manager that she is inspired me.
Wow, very interesting.
Yes.
And I would assume that part of the motivation I would assume behind just about anybody going into nursing is that desire to want to help people.
Of course.
Yeah, and that's so. When it comes to the schooling, what was there one particular thing that comes to mind when I ask you what was the biggest surprise that you experienced in your schooling?
You know, I can't even think of one off the top of my head.
Very interesting.
Just school in general. Nursing school is hard, so it's not for the faint of heart.
Right.
Everything was thrown at you, so.
But and you have so many different things between the biology of the whole thing, but then also, you know, dealing with trying to figure out how to communicate with someone who might be in pain or, you know, having extreme anxiety because of whatever. I mean, there's a lot of different variables there, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and you get to be right in the middle of all of that.
Of course, yeah. So our instructors did a great job of applying. You know, a textbook can tell you so much about dealing with a patient in pain, but when you get into the lab, they do a really good job of creating that scenario for you. But clinically, you go in to the hospital where you're able to treat live patients and you learn so much more. So those three concepts together just really make that
Outstanding.
knowledge.
And, you know, John, when it comes to being an educator in this, you know, there's got to be so many different unique variables here. I would think, though, that at the community college level, you know, rather than perhaps some of the big medical universities and things like that, I mean, you probably have a little bit more of a one-on-one opportunity with some of these students, which I think would just increase the quality of the education that much more.
I think that is a big part of our success is smaller classes, more one-on-one. They get to interact at the hospital, and just like Abby was saying, everybody works together instead of, okay, this person they only teach the book stuff, and it really is a community. We have people like Abby who comes out young out of high school. We have a lot of nursing students in their mid-30s that are, for whatever reason, needing to go back to school. We have had a couple over 50 that have come to school and get to be nurses, so it's that whole community, both in Payson and in the program, make it just work.
Wow, that's amazing. And when it comes to these, we were talking about these really advanced mannequins that can talk and gives the students a chance to really have to do some thinking on their feet with trying to maybe diagnose or at least assess exactly what the situation is at the moment. Obviously, these aren't cheap. Is this something that these been around in Payson for a while now?
This goes back to the Mogollon Health Alliance.
Right.
Has contributed a lot of money, and those are $20,000 to $25,000.
I was going to say that doesn't sound like a mannequin that people pick up at Walmart.
Right.
Wow, that's amazing. So I mean, what a huge impact they're having, not only on individual lives, but the town of Payson in general. I mean, that's profound.
Yes. Well, and also we've had COVID for the last year and a half. Because of those mannequins, we're still able to have nursing school go through and actually get experience because of our simulations.
And one of the things I know we were discussing just before going on the air today is that during the whole COVID pandemic, there were times when students weren't allowed in the hospital, so this obviously really stood in the gap there as far as still continuing the education. Mm-hmm. Without those mannequins, there's some things that might have fallen through the cracks.
We're out of luck without those.
Yes. Yeah. And Abby, it had to be pretty amazing for you. I mean, to be going through nursing school at the same time a global pandemic is going on. I mean, what a huge perspective builder that had to be.
It was a challenge. It was,
I bet there's some other words that you could use.
Difficult, but also just amazing to be able to say, hey, I made it through nursing school during a pandemic. I feel like we learned so much more than you could if we weren't in that situation.
Problem-based learning really works well.
Yes.
It's not necessarily fun, but it works well.
Yeah, a lot of the students, I mean, we persevered through, it just was interesting, to say the least.
Well, I mean, what an education you got. And again, I think it's phenomenal that we're talking about an educational process that is number one in the entire state of Arizona. When you look at some of the other opportunities for this type of education in Arizona, I mean, there's some big names out there, and to have the number one in the state be right here in Payson at our community college, that's I mean, that's mind-blowing. And then to be also nationally recognized, Hoyt, I mean, this is really something for the hospital, the college, the students, everybody to be really proud, the whole community to be proud of.
I'm anxious to tell this story to anyone who will hear, because we want those students to want to apply here. We want them to come here and help care for our population. Average age in Payson is 57, last census that I looked at. And so we're gonna be more at the second half of our life, and we're gonna need care. We need good nurses, and our success at the hospital is heavily impacted by the caliber of the nurses that we hire, and other professions that are essential as well. Another lesson I would add: great things come out of small things. And I think sometimes we become our own worst enemy in smaller towns. I love small towns. I'm loyal to rural America. We often think, oh, bigger is better. Now, there are times when that's the case. We don't have the volume of population to do brain surgery, heart surgery. We're not going to do that here ever. But what we do, we want to do exceptionally well. And I think smaller class sizes, knowing everyone's names. These nurses tease John. They know him well. He knows them by name. At the graduation, it was one of the most intimate graduation ceremonies I've ever witnessed. Very personal. And they said that despite COVID, it was perhaps the highest caliber of graduating class they've ever had. And I wonder if it wasn't the crucible of conflict and challenge that creates that.
Well, and there's been a lot of talk that really one of the most critical ingredients in good education is the teacher. And to be able to, and I'm talking to you, Hoyt, about this because I don't want, John's going to just tell me to shut up. I mean, it's a critical ingredient, and to be able to combine that with the one-on-one, the greater one-on-one possibilities. I mean, what an amazing opportunity.
It is, and John is part of this. I worry when John retires, who will step up?
Right.
Because you don't become wealthy as a community college nursing instructor. You can make more money if you wanted to work nights, weekends, and different specialty care, or travel. We're lucky to have John. John, with his permission, John's had some amazing challenges in his life since 12 years old with health.
Wow.
And I think he creates empathetic training because...
Well, you get it.
I've had anything they're studying, I've had it.
So you know this from the patient perspective, and that's got to be huge perspective for you as someone that's an educator, but in nursing in general, to be able to have that empathetic perspective is profound.
Yes.
Because I think we've all met people that don't seem to have that,
right.
And that doesn't go well in healthcare, in my book anyway.
Yes, and I try to teach that to the students. I have a million stories that Abby can tell you about, but they're all true, and that helps them to understand, wait a minute, we're not treating a piece of paper, we're not treating the book, we're treating a person. And that's what I try to do, provide excellent education so we can provide excellent care, not okay education to provide okay care. We want
and the more, another piece about it, I think it's human nature. When we feel motivated by a higher cause, we'll learn better. Learning just to learn to pass an exam, learning just to become certified is not very inspiring. Learning so I can save every life that's possible based on the best evidence in the world known and revealed by God to man today is how we save lives. And one other thing we would be remiss if we didn't mention, there's more than John
yes.
involved in this great
John's a small
program.
piece.
Do you want to mention a few of those individuals who...
Well, Ty Jones is our head nursing instructor here. Carolyn McCormies is the boss of the nursing program. She's also the president of the State Board of Nursing. So we have high-end people all along the line.
Yeah, I think it's easy for some people to think, oh, it's a small town, little podunk place. It's Mayberry. They have people that just learned how to spell nursing here. And that's not the case, obviously. I mean, you got these people have some pretty significant credentials.
Significant credentials, a lot of experience on all fronts of all of the instructors, the clinical instructors at the hospital. It's really is a group effort of people that want to help, want to teach.
We've hired 6 of the 8 graduates, which we're so, we call that pick up the litter. I mean, we feel like we did
I like it.
And the most we've ever hired, and part of that's because of the crisis of the pandemic and the number of staff that travel to go help in other states. So we've never hired 6 in 1 year, because we want to make sure we sustain the continued level of excellence. And we're proud of that. And I grabbed these 2 because they work at the hospital, but it might be worth a program with the program director, and
I'd love to do
because
that.
I think this program deserves more recognition, and I think it's important that the town of Payson be proud of it, and that we promote to the children, the youth, young adults, and adults graduating looking for second careers. I learned about the Arizona Public Health Department. They help scholarship. There's lots of funding out there. If you wish to be a nurse but you can't afford to do it, don't hesitate to reach out. Even you can reach out at the hospital and ask for Hoyt and administration. I'll connect you with that program. I learned about it at the Chamber of Commerce yesterday. We're going to look into utilizing it to help develop nursing as a career in this community. The state's trying to help. If someone's out there that wants to be a nurse, you live in the right place.
This is the place to be.
And I mean, and it's not a bad paying job. I mean, you're making well over $50,000 a year right out of the gate.
Out of the gate. I told my children. I said, "What do you think?" I said, "I would be a nurse." And I told them, "There's so many options in nursing, flight nursing. You know, you've got ICU care. You can go down into a valley and you could do heart surgeries, different things. There's careers within nursing. That's not one career, but many.
So many different directions, yeah.
It's a lot of careers, and if you get tired of one spot, you just move over to a different spot.
Yeah,
And
there you go.
you're still
I'm
in
tired of brain surgery, let's look at another part of the body.
Right.
Okay, I like that. And Abby, now I understand that you've been hired on, you're going to be working in the ER at
Yes.
Banner Payson Medical Center.
Yes.
And that's got to be kind of exciting.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I actually, part of the program is you do what they call a preceptorship.
Mhm.
And so they connect us with the hospital here, and so that's where I did my preceptorship, and I ended up loving it. I know a few students that are hired on did their preceptorships in different specialties like med-surg and OB, and actually got hired on into those specialties as well. So it's very exciting, and just being able to connect the
I think
two.
that's beautiful. Do you have aspirations to get into anything specific aside from starting out with the ER here?
Not at the moment. I am content where I'm at. I'm excited to be able to just learn and grow in the ER right now, and so be able to.
Well, with your mom being a nurse, your dad being a police officer, I'm kind of guessing that the sometimes kind of chaotic atmosphere in an ER is something that you're going to be perfectly fine with.
Yes.
Gotta love it.
Yes.
I think what's going on here is something, as you mentioned, Hoyt, for really the whole community to be proud of. I mean, this is amazing to have this happening just right here. And again, I keep saying little old Payson.
I agree with you, and that we have students that come from the valley and other locations and travel up here to be part of this program.
Yes.
And I think that there could be a time where nationally people would come here. It's beautiful too.
I know we had one of the students from down the valley that was up here for just a short period of time, and I think they were also working with the Payson Christian Clinic, doing some stuff there too. But young people just getting amazing perspective, both medically as well as sociologically. I mean, it's just it's astounding the caliber of education that you can get.
I think I would just say there are many things still right with America.
Yeah.
There are, and I think it's hard because
And most of them are right here in Payson.
and that's true.
Yeah.
And we want to build those things. We need to be agreeable on things that are absolutely concretely evidence-based excellence. There's so many things we contend about, and we don't do it in an agreeable manner. I don't mind agreeably disagreeing. Then I can understand you, and I can disagree, maybe persuade you. But when when we just disagree. So that this is something that's right in America. And I would tell you there are many parts of healthcare. The caliber of training has gotten better and better, and we're proud to be part of it.
Well, now we're about out of time. If people want to find out more about this nursing program, John, what do you think? What would be the best way for them to, who should they talk to? How can they get more info on the nursing curriculum itself and all that?
You can call over to the college, and it's the EAC Payson campus. Sometimes it is still the Gila Community College. It just depends on where it is you call, and they will have somebody be able to answer the phone, answer your questions, and get you the information that you need to do.
And the fact, as you mentioned, Hoyt, that that there are some significant scholarships available for this. I mean, this is something that you don't necessarily have to be well heeled to be able to get into. This is a great opportunity
And a great second career. Some of the more seasoned men and women who enter nursing later in life, they've been drawn to it. Don't hesitate based on age.
Maybe I should give up radio.
Hey man, you're very friendly. You have a good bedside manner. I think we take it.
Well, if I could just live long enough to.
You supported healthcare across in times of need across this world, and we consider you an honorary nurse.
Well, there you go. I like that. Thank you, Brad. There's no paycheck with that, though. Is
No,
there?
that comes in heaven.
Okay, there you go. I'll take that.
The benefit plan here is amazing.
I'll be there forever, so it's all good. Anyway, again, we're out of time, but definitely appreciate talking today with the Banner Payson Medical Center CEO, Hoyt Scablin, also John Hancock, the educator there with the Eastern Arizona Community College Nursing Program, and Abby Hazelow, a nurse and recent graduate from the GCC program. Thanks to all of you for being here this morning. I think this is a great story. I'm glad that we were able to hopefully get a few more people understanding what all is going on over there, because this is great stuff.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
You bet. And thank you for tuning in and listening today to Community Spotlight on KRIM. Going to get you back to more of your favorite music. Have some tunes coming up from Ryan Adams, the Black Crowes, Stevie Wonder, Carly Simon, and a whole bunch more. But first, a quick look at RIM Country weather.
Doesn't it make it easy? Just amazing. Good job. Thank you for doing
Thank you,
that.
of course.
It might be a program you might invite the college to come, because like Mr. Jones or Dr. Jones, I don't know if he's a PhD.
Yes.
Dr. Jones and others, that you could bring John back and bring them, but it may be in the right timing, maybe in 6 months or something. But I do think we should highlight everything that's going exceptionally well in this town.
I think that's a huge story. And again, I agree wholeheartedly that I don't think enough people realize the caliber of what's quietly going on here.
It's, I mean, I
Well, they
just
really
say,
don't. They say, oh, well, look, ASU's so much better. You're just a community college. We're better than ASU.
when it comes to
and the
this
UFA.
specialized program,
Yeah.
it's better. You will get more one-on-one, better training, and graduate more prepared.
Well, and that's just it too. I mean,
And it's less expensive.
And it's
It really
Just
is.
saying, it's
I
so,
think
community
that-
colleges are super cheap compared.
Well, and it's that one-on-one aspect, is I think profoundly important, because I think you can slip between the cracks in the big schools.
What were you gonna say?
I think that it's just important that you do get that one-on-one, especially if you're going into a profession where it's important, like your patient care, your knowledge is very important, and if you get that one-on-one, I think that it just rounds you better. And like they said, it's so much cheaper than ASU, where you're paying for one semester our entire tuition for all 4 years, so.
Wow.
And there's support out there. I forgot if this, I couldn't remember. I was gonna say it in the air, so that's something. I have the flyer on my desk, and they said that they help people get training. They help them with their. I was like, now there's some criteria, but there's money out there.
there's money.
I hope someone
They know about
calls
it at the
as a
college.
result of this
I
program.
hope
If
so.
one person chooses nursing as a career from listening to this program and is able to do it and wouldn't have otherwise, then the four of us spent a half an hour in an exceptional way.
I agree with that.
So thank
I
you.
agree.
Well, let us
It's
know what
really
else we can do to help.
good. Just
Thank
keep interviewing us.
I can do that.
You make us sound intelligent
Oh.
half of the time.
Yeah,
The
that
rest
was
is
very
unhelp.
good.
You can't help.
Yeah.
You only start with the clay you
Yeah,
got.
the rest of the time is when I'm talking.
No. You do great, man. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. My pleasure. I'm glad to be able to help.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. All right, tell your dad I said hi.
I will.
All right.
Actually, it is shown. So early on, we had evidence, now we have. The evidence is very countries where they're lined up to get it. One other thing that might be interesting is, so the reason there's a promotion of so much on every vaccine, initially it was to prevent hospitals from being overwhelmed. We've achieved that. In Payson and Gila County, over 65 they were the most happy to be at death's door. So we're past that. It's not, but now we're worried about younger people. We're not as worried about hospitals because here's the thing. As a virus spreads, each time it spreads, there's a potential mutation. So flu, every fall, the flu as it travels around the world in the southern hemisphere, that different strains of different viruses become more abound, and there's mutations. So we have to change the flu vaccine every year. Well, this is one virus, COVID-19, that we're studying, and it's already mutated 6 times because of how fast it spreads. Different than all the other diseases, COVID is more contagious. So it spreads more often, therefore it mutates more often. So the goal is to get everyone vaccinated so we achieve herd immunity, so we can slow the spread, so we can avoid mutation, which will be immune to the vaccine. That would be disaster. Because as the newest virus mutation is immune. It is more contagious than the United Kingdom strain, which was 5 times more contagious than the original strain. So we're talking about, you and I in this room, if one of us had that strain, very high probability the other of us would get it. Very contagious. And the UK strain was 5 times more contagious, but not as acute. Didn't lead to hospitalizations. Because the Indian strain is more contagious than the United Kingdom and the virus hospitalization. All that said, so far, all of these variants, the virus, the vaccines remain effective, including this but there's at some point, if we don't slow the spread, we're going to get a mutation. And I feel the thing is right now.
Yeah.
Overwhelmed hospitals, people who were vaccinated for 93 are dying. Some are freaking back. So we're doing all we can to gently. I'm not a fan of pushing vaccination because I think people, my nature is to resist something we push. So I believe we just need to educate and respect those choices. If we respect those choices, they're going to be more interested in this. And then we can educate. And the longer we go from the onset of COVID, which was back last year, the more evidence we get that's not political. That you can say, oh, the CDC, or oh, they want to put embed a microchip in me by vaccine. It's not happening. But if it's happening through private industry in many countries, and it's not just the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, it's just science. People, I think, as they're educated, and they did it